Crossing minefields, outrunning snow leopards in the desolate desert, or crouching in the shadows of a damp basement in China. These aren't scenes pulled from a high-budget action movie. They are the brutal, everyday realities for those seeking the only real shot at escaping North Korea. Brace yourself. You are about to walk the 7 most dangerous paths on the planet, where every second is a gamble against death. You are currently living at the absolute limit of human existence. Imagine a life where your entire diet is reduced to catching rats, gathering wild grass, and digging for roots just to keep your organs from failing. In this world, drinking stagnant water from muddy puddles isn't a choice, it's your only way to survive the scorching thirst. But the fear doesn't just stem from an empty stomach, it grows in the suffocating silence. A single misplaced word, even to a lifelong friend, can result in years of hard labor in a prison camp, where survival means scavenging through industrial debris for a scrap of energy to last just one more sunrise. The government has locked the gates to the outside world, classifying any attempt to leave as a supreme act of treason, punishable by the unimaginable. Yet, when you truly have nothing left to lose, the terrifying risk of a public execution begins to feel smaller than the slow, grinding agony of staying. The plan is set. You look back at your home one last time, knowing with heavy certainty that your departure could condemn 3 generations of your family to a life of misery. The stopwatch on your life has officially started. Directly in front of you lies the most heavily fortified strip of land on the face of the Earth, the DMZ, a 155-mile-long scar that separates north from south. Nearly 2 million soldiers, armed to the teeth, watch every single square inch of this border with lethal intent. For any ordinary civilian, this is nothing less than a suicide mission. One single wrong step, 1 inch to the left or right, could mean being obliterated by a hidden landmine or being fried instantly by high-voltage electric fences designed to kill on contact. Most who even dare to attempt this route are defecting soldiers who have spent years studying the patrol patterns and blind spots. Yet even for them, the risk of being gunned down at point-blank range is a constant shadow. You hold your breath until your lungs burn as a massive searchlight sweeps the tall grass just inches from your head. The oppressive silence is broken only by the cold, metallic click of assault rifles being chambered in the watchtowers above. Crossing here is a statistical miracle that very few live to talk about. If you fail, there is no trial and no way back. If you succeed, true freedom is just a few yards away, but the entry fee is often your very life. If the DMZ feels like an impossible wall, your next desperate choice is to head north, attempting to cross the Yalu or Tumen rivers into Chinese territory. The Tumen is the most popular route because the water is shallower, but do not let that fool you. These waters hide dark, chilling secrets and the bloated bodies of those who tried to cross before you. During the peak of winter, the thick ice might look like a sturdy bridge to a new life, but it is a treacherous death trap that can shatter without warning under the weight of your starved, exhausted body, pulling you into the freezing abyss. However, the real danger isn't the environment, it's the eyes you cannot see. Border patrols maintain a crushing, omnipresent watch, with snipers hidden in camouflaged foxholes, waiting for the precise moment to rain a hail of bullets on any moving shadow. If you somehow survive the gunfire and the bone-chilling cold, the Chinese riverbank offers your first gasp of freedom, but it is a hollow victory. Even on the other side, you remain a hunted animal.
Crossing the physical border was merely the beginning of the nightmare. Once inside China, you aren't treated as a refugee. You're labeled an illegal migrant and forced into a life of constant paranoid flight. The fear simply changes its shape. Now it's the piercing eyes of the local police and a vast network of informants lurking on every street corner. If you are caught, forced repatriation is your guaranteed destiny, sending you straight back to the very horror you just risked everything to escape. Your only shred of hope lies in reaching a foreign embassy in Beijing or a UN office, but these locations are surrounded like fortresses. Undercover agents watch the gates 24 hours a day, ready to tackle and arrest anyone attempting that final desperate leap toward diplomatic immunity. Even if you manage to slip inside, you could remain trapped for months or even years, waiting for a high-stakes flight to a free country. Every stranger passing you on the sidewalk is a potential threat. Every bus stop is a gamble where your northern accent might give you away. In China, the entire country is a prison without bars. For most defectors, China is nothing more than a high-stakes pit stop. The true objective is the Underground Railroad, a clandestine and dangerous network of safe houses cutting through the heart of Southeast Asia. You find yourself on a cramped bus, pulling your hot low to hide your face, knowing that any routine police checkpoint could expose your identity in seconds. The ultimate destination is Thailand, the only nation in the region that won't forcibly deport you back to the north. But reaching it requires a grueling trek through the dense, mountainous jungles of Laos on foot, dodging military outposts and human traffickers. Your feet are worn down to raw flesh, and the threat of malaria-carrying mosquitoes is a constant companion. The final, daunting hurdle is the Mekong River. As you slide into those dark waters, you know that if you can just reach the opposite bank, the nightmare finally ends. Many defectors surrender to the Thai police the very moment they crawl onto dry land, actually preferring a local prison cell over the living hell they left behind.
If the jungle isn't your path, you are left with the brutal expanse of the Gobi Desert. In this wasteland, physical exhaustion is your primary executioner under temperatures that swing violently between blistering, skin-peeling heat and lethal sub-zero cold. You are surrounded by the howling of wolves and the silent prowl of snow leopards. Mongolia represents a safe haven, but the trek across the dunes is a supreme test of human endurance that only the strongest survive. On the other hand, there is the path of escape through exile. You fight and bribe to be sent to state-sanctioned labor camps in the frozen forests of Russia or construction sites in Poland, accepting what is essentially modern-day slavery just to be outside those guarded North Korean borders. The work is soul-crushing, remote regions, 18-hour shifts, and a diet of almost nothing. Yet here, there are no landmines. The dilemma is hauntingly cruel. Escaping from a foreign labor camp means effectively abandoning your wife and children back home, leaving them to face the regime's wrath as hostages. Freedom has a price tag that many souls simply cannot afford to pay. For the elite few in the heart of Pyongyang, the escape doesn't involve swimming through icy rivers or dodging jungle patrols. It involves cold cash and sophisticated forgeries. If you are a high-ranking diplomat or a privileged student studying abroad, the physical exit is relatively simple, but the emotional cost is the heaviest of all. Your children and spouse are often kept behind as human collateral to ensure your loyalty. Once you finally reach the lights of Seoul or the West, you realize you will be a lifelong target. Even thousands of miles away, the regime's long arm will attempt to hunt you down, branding you a traitor to silence your voice and your stories. You sit by your window, looking out at a free city, knowing that the only true escape for your people would be the total collapse of the regime itself. Your personal journey ends here, but for those who couldn't get out, the cycle of suffering continues. You survived the 7 paths, but the weight of your freedom will be felt by your descendants for generations to come.